Here we are at Nutrify, as in deep nutrition. We consider this category baseline super nutrition that's vital no matter if you're going through a cancer diagnosis in your family or are simply taking charge and making sure your family stays disease-free for the rest of your lives. Being loaded up on these nutrients is the foundation for everything else we're trying to do in all of the other categories. It's going to modulate epigenetic expression in the right direction. It's going to help detoxify and boost the immune system and help gut health and metabolic function. So being loaded up on all of these nutrients is going to do these things to varying degrees in and of itself, and we use these supplements in the other categories to supercharge those functions. But conversely, if they're lacking, then nothing else is going to work the way we'd want it to. So the first category here is probably the most obvious when it comes to Nutrify, and that is a multivitamin type product. We straight up don't get what we used to from the foods with modern farming techniques. Even on organic farms, most of the soils have been depleted of their nutrients for a variety of reasons. And if it isn't in the soils, then it's not going to be in the plants. And if it's not in the plants, then it's not going to get into us. There has been study after study showing the same foods from 50 or more years ago had way more nutrients in them than they do today. So even if we are eating an incredibly clean, plant-rich diet, we've still got to cover our bases and make sure that we're actually getting these in, because these are vital to every function of our bodies. That being said, personally, for general health purposes, for us, we're not as religious about taking these in the amounts or frequencies as what's on the bottle, as we are doing so much else that does include vitamins and minerals, so it's more of a covering our bases sort of thing. So a bottle tends to last one person in our family a lot longer than the month that it's supposed to. Now, not only do we not get the amount of vitamins and minerals that we're supposed to, but we also don't get the variety of phytonutrients. Basically, the various chemicals in plants that have all sorts of beneficial effects, like lycopene in tomatoes or sulforaphane in broccoli, that we need. And it's really the synergy of all of these nutrients together in the body is where the real magic happens. There are also all sorts of studies on indigenous populations today and hunter-gatherer societies in the past showing that they get hundreds of times the diversity in types of plants in their diet than what we have today. What's available in any given supermarket is such a small portion of all the edible plants in the world when you think about it. And then you think about what percentage of that selection are you even ever buying? So aside from trying to incorporate new foods into our diet, this is why we love these blends that have hundreds of phytonutrients within one product. And then when we incorporate the rotation within this group, we're getting a new set of nutrients every time we order something new. Then you have single ingredient powerhouses. These are plants that contain a very wide spectrum of important nutrients themselves, so much so that it's incredibly beneficial to get larger amounts of them than you'd find just in a blend spread out with all the other plants. So optimally, we're using at least one super nutrition blend and one single ingredient product at any given time. But if we're tight on budget, we can also consider the blends and the single ingredient category one category, and then go back and forth from a blend to a single ingredient. Next are essential fatty acids, or EFAs. It is so important to get high quality EFAs for a variety of reasons. They're just like the other vitamins and minerals and phytochemicals in that they support pretty much every bodily function you can imagine. But they're also a key component in what goes into building cell membranes. And this really deserves an article all on its own, but you want your cells to be intaking oxygen and discarding waste as effectively as possible. If they're made up of poor materials, then that's not going to happen. You will notice that we don't have fish oil on here and it's seed oils instead. Again, this is a very in-depth topic, but there's a good deal of research showing that you don't actually need the omega-3 superdose you get from fish oil, and there's a very high probability of contamination and oxidation. So getting fats from seeds is all around a better way to go. Then you have essential elements. Again, these are various nutrients that most of the population is massively deficient in. And even if they have a good diet, and the amounts needed that we hear from most health professionals is necessary to get back to optimum levels, still isn't typically found in multivitamin products. And all of these are absolutely crucial for any cancer prevention. They're the nutrients you hear about most in that regard, so we're always sure to have topped up on these. So for general health, we treat them the same as we do multivitamins, and we make sure to get them on a regular basis, but not necessarily every day. And we certainly did do a lot more than that when we were reversing cancer to make absolutely sure all of those deficiencies were covered. That is all for the Nutrify group, and I will see you at the correct group.